Go do the thing that you feel good about doing, and don't do the thing that you think other people will look at you and say that's what they should be doing. Welcome to Products of Circumstance, a podcast with Ken Skeen and myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men, which we are. This show is unscripted. I just had to throw that out there. Unfiltered and mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly. Ken knows what we're going to talk about. I do not, and he's going to tell us. But first, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And share with somebody. You know, if you get anything out of this, something, you know, feels like a gem that you want to share with somebody who's on their personal development journey, just click the share button and drop it in a text message or post it on your Facebook page or whatever. We'd love to see you do that. All right. Enough of all the red tape and bureaucracies. What are we talking about today?
Today's topic will be what other people think about you.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh.
Let's do it.
Got you riled up. All right, get start. You sound like you have something on your mind.
I don't care.
There we
go. I don't care. Except I really, really care a lot. So it's this conundrum for me. When I was a kid, I cared so much about what other people thought. And it was debilitating in many ways, in many areas of my life. Most notably in school. I was one of those kids who was pretty sure that I knew the answer to the question, but didn't want to raise my hand because of how I would be perceived. What if I got it wrong? I couldn't deal with the embarrassment. What if I got it right? I didn't want to be called a nerd, which, by the way, I was squarely in the nerd column, all right? The glasses, the corduroys. You know, I grew up in a household with parents that, you know, dressed us like we were in Jamaica. We all wore button-down shirts and corduroy pants and dress shoes when everyone else was wearing, like, you know, their favorite sports team sweat suits and stuff. Like, we were nerds. And so I think that so much that was out of my control, the way that I looked, the appearance. I had to wear glasses since I was, like, I don't know, 3 years old or whatever. There were so many things that were out of my control that already put me in a position to be ridiculed by other people. And why would I do it to myself and either say the wrong thing or say the right thing? Either way, I was going to lose. So I think from a very young age, I just cared so much about what people thought. I was overweight, so that played a lot into it. I didn't want to be the fat kid, but I was. I was an introvert since I was a little kid, and that made it challenging for me to be in the cool circles. So I just had so many things I felt like going against me, not going for me. And at some point, when I got a little older, I started to shed some weight, you know, came into my own, developed a sense of style, and realized that, like, nah, I'm actually like a really cool dude, you know? And the one thing I think that really propelled me into straight up, well, at one point it propelled me into straight up arrogance, you know, but definitely got me more confident was my ability to make music. I started producing music when I was like 16 years old. And that was a thing because there wasn't a lot of people making beats. And now I'm like Swiss Beats Junior. You know,
people singing in the bathroom.
Yeah, my little brother used to call me. My older brother used to call me Swiss Cheese. Make fun of me like I was Swiss Beats. Call me Swiss Cheese because my beats kind of sounded like him and Timbaland. And as I started to grow in my talent, that really took my confidence to a place where it was like, yo, it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks. I'm dope. I know I'm dope. And what I was doing with our mutual, you know, friend Paulo, we were cooking. And I think it was this weird thing where, like, I'm at home in the shadows, literally in my bedroom. We used to call it closet studios because we had people recording in the closet because, you know, the sound dampening with the clothes was like perfect. And so I'm cooking up, you know, beats. I'm getting I'm getting sales. I'm starting to sell music for money. I get my first placement, you know what I'm saying, with a major record label. All this is happening and nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? All the people I went to school with and everything and people on my job, like nobody knows. So my confidence is brewing behind the scenes while in public, I'm still a nerd. And this goes for a little bit. I promise this will be like a quick thing. My older brother was in nightlife. He was a club promoter. So I started going to clubs when I was pretty young. Again, nobody I went to school with knows that I'm out in New York City in like the most exclusive spots. You know what I'm saying? Because he only did the high end stuff. I was going there, showing up to the front of the line, like, oh yeah, I'm here for such and such, and they just let me in, or he would come out and get me. You know what I'm saying? And you just walk in, and everyone's like, who is this guy? So it was weird. I had this duality thing going on, and what I'm getting at is that my life has been this trajectory of like confidence just bubbling behind the scenes. And when it finally broke out of me and I broke out of my shell, I think altogether, I think I just came off as very arrogant. I was very arrogant at this point. I had lost like a good amount of weight. I was dressing, and I was doing things in life that people in society would deem like, oh, he's cool. He does cool things. So I was like, Kanye, you couldn't tell me nothing.
You can't tell me nothing.
Can't tell me nothing. So at that point, in my 20s, confidence was, very much through the roof. And I think I just realized, especially not going to college, which was another big thing, that led to the arrogance part, because I was always smart, but I didn't go to school. All my friends went to school. My smart friends, because I rolled with all the smart kids. And what happened was I always had a chip on my shoulder. Like, I need to prove that I'm smart because I didn't have a degree. Right? I promise this is going somewhere. We're talking about what other people think. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're on track right now.
This is going somewhere.
You're on track.
I had that chip on my shoulder. So I'm doing cool things. And I know that I'm smart, but I don't have a degree. So I get super arrogant and cocky, and I just have to let everybody know how smart I am. And I have to let everybody know all the cool things that I'm doing. And I overcompensated. And I turned off a lot of people, in my 20s as a result of that, because nobody wants to be around an arrogant person. Like, you're just a jerk at that point. Confidence is cool and confidence is sexy. Arrogance is disgusting. Nobody likes an arrogant person, and there is a difference. And so I'll be 42 in like 2 weeks. And at this point, I've learned that balance. I've learned that quiet confidence is all you really need in life. The Draymond Green quote, insecurity is loud. You know what I'm saying? Confidence is quiet. And so these days I'm quiet. I don't talk a lot about what I'm doing. I don't have to, and I'm not arrogant, but you pick up on my confidence very quickly. And I started out by saying, I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks, because I truly have realized that whether you're winning or whether you're losing, people are going to talk about you either way.
Yep.
And it really doesn't matter what outside, like perspectives are. What matters is what's your perspective. Are you doing the best that you can to be better than you were yesterday? Are you doing everything that you can to meet your goals, to move the goalposts, or move the ball towards the goalposts? Are you making sure that you are happy with who you are and that you like you? Like, I love me. I like me a lot. I'm a big fan of Fenton. And you have to get to a place where it doesn't matter if everybody else isn't a fan of Fenton, because everybody can be wrong. That saying, oh, the whole world can't be wrong, that's a lie from the pit of hell. The whole world can be wrong, and you can be right. And you just have to get to a place where I'm right. And I'm going to do what I think is right. And that has a lot of implications in our lives in the world. It's not just about like thinking about how you look and things like that. Right. What if you see somebody getting beat up on the street and you say, that's wrong. I need to do what's right. I need to intervene. and you jump in. Now you should use wisdom.
Yeah, be careful out there.
You should use wisdom because we've seen that go left. But also, you can, sometimes you will take an L doing what's right. Just because you take an L doesn't mean that you were wrong or that your heart wasn't in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Like standing up for righteousness, doing what you know is right, even when other people say it's wrong. Following, you know what I'm saying, like your path that you have for yourself, even when other people say, nah, you shouldn't do that, Ken. Nah, you're not going to win with that, Ken. You should just go do this thing instead, Ken. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done a lot of things in my life that like didn't make any sense. There's a lot of risk involved, and I could have just taken a safer route, but I can't take a safer route because if I care what everybody else thinks about me, Fenton should have, gone to college. It's like that ship has sailed. I'm not going to college, Ken. I'm not going to college. It's not happening, right? So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go the safe route? And like, I said this was gonna be short, but here's the thing. For me, and I'm being very vulnerable and just sharing with people and sharing with you. One of the challenges I had in my life that I think that held me back was I didn't go to college, and I never allowed myself to just be okay with that because I was busy thinking about what other people thought. They said, well, it doesn't make sense. Fenton's really smart. And one of the first questions that people ask me is, what school did you go to? It's a guaranteed. I'm not being cocky. This is my life. This is what people say. They say, oh, what school did you go to? You're so smart. And, certain people of a certain persuasion will say, like, you're so well-spoken. Please stop saying to black people that you're so well-spoken.
Yeah.
It's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. All right. We all speak English. All right. So there's no reason that anyone should have a less, a firm grasp on the English language than anybody else. And there's a lot of assumptions behind it. And, whether you believe it or not, and you think it's a compliment, it's like, we want to receive it in the way that it was given, in the spirit that it was given, but it's really hard to, because we all speak English. And so stop saying that to black people. All that being said, it's one of those things that people ask me a lot. It's like, what school did you go to? What's your degree in? Because, I know a lot of random stuff, man. And so,
what does it matter? What does it matter?
So
I know people that went to Ivy League colleges that are not well spoken and got in because mommy and daddy. So
I don't know kind of call you, but I think the reason why people do it also is because it creates there's synergy there, right? What school did you go to? Maybe I went to the same school. Oh, what year did you graduate? Oh, you have this degree? Oh, I got this degree, or whatever. Like, people try to find things about each other that are similar, because it's a way of, getting closer to one another, right?
It's comfort. It's comfort. It's surface level questions to build comfort.
Familiarity. I was talking to a guy today. He said, oh, like I used to live in Brooklyn. I'm like, oh, I'm from Long Island. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in Westchester, but we come from, similar places. And so you can have that's something in common, and that's cool. But moreover, when people would ask me that, I think that I never really allowed myself to get over that and mourn the fact that I had really close friends that went off and left. You know what I'm saying? And we're at all these fancy schools doing all these fancy things with their degrees. And I was like at home, working on music and trying to do my own thing. And it was cool and it was good. And I believed in what I was doing, but I never let go of that idea that, I should be in that bucket too. And that created a bit of a, dissonance within me. And I was always like, well, when I started working in the mortgage industry, it was like, all right, well, this is cool. It's a stand-up, position. I wear a suit every day or a shirt and tie, and I feel corporate, and like maybe this is what my life should have been. But then at night, I'm running off to the music studio, the recording studio, to go do what I'm actually good at and what I actually enjoy doing, and being a creative and designing things and all this other stuff. Like I know, and I don't have regrets, but I'm just sharing this so that somebody who's making these decisions right now in their life can learn. Go do the thing that you feel good about doing, and don't do the thing that you think other people will look at you and say that's what they should be doing.
Right.
I wasted a lot of time. I learned a lot, and it worked out because these days I run a creative business. So the stuff that I learned in the corporate world, that I learned working at startups, I'm able to apply those business lessons, and I have developed business acumen that allows me to be a professional creative because I know how to run a business. So God doesn't make mistakes, and it worked out. I will say though, I do feel like I could have probably made a lot more money and probably, taken a lot more vacations and done a lot more things if I
You don't
had
know that.
just followed. I got no regrets.
You don't know that,
I'm just
man.
well, I do know I would have made some more money. That
You don't know that.
bro,
Yeah, there's a
my
bunch of execs getting
trajectory.
laid off every 5 to 6 years. Getting
I
laid off
know, but my
because of markets.
trajectory in the music industry was I'm like, man, I'm like D Rose. I would have been a Hall of Famer if I hadn't gotten injured. That's my trajectory in the music industry was there, and I had a lot of dissonance. I had a lot of conflicting voices in my head that made me make decisions that I think listen to this, weren't the best decision for where I wanted to go.
Okay.
They I made decisions that got me where I am today, and I'm happy where I am today. But where I wanted to go then, I didn't make the right decisions to take me in that direction. And if that's just the way my life was supposed to be, I'm okay with that. Some people may not be okay with that when they get where they are today. They'll constantly be lamenting the place that they didn't get to. And I don't want that for people. If that's where you want to go, stop listening to what other people say and
Hmm.
go where you want to go. Make the decisions today that will get you there tomorrow. If you're okay with just taking a ride, like I was, because I was able to reconcile it, then yeah, fine. Um, and I think that's about it for me, man. You gotta believe in yourself and that what you're doing is right and it's cool. And be like that girl in the commercial with the yellow jacket that she ordered, and she's walking through
Oh,
school, and
yeah.
she's
So
just like, eh,
she's dancing to the music.
and it's like nobody else can hear the music, but she's dancing and she's right in her head, and she doesn't care what anybody thinks. You know,
Right. Yeah, it's actually a dope. I just saw it like I think like a week ago.
so good.
I guess she had some peach fuzz in her upper lip, and she looked like she was probably in like what, like sixth or seventh grade, something like that, maybe eighth grade. And she orders the yellow jacket with the white shoes. That's a cute commercial though. Um, my thing with people, which is, it takes practice, by the way. Not caring what people think about you does take practice, and that's daily practice. Um, you have to remember that you're the hero in your own story, right? So everyone has their own story. People think, even me when I was growing up, oh, what are they looking at? Are they talking about me? And I had to teach myself that no one really cares. They have their own problems. People have their own problems that they're worried about. If you think you're self-conscious, trust me, that other person that you think is staring or talking about you is even more self-conscious. Um, Whatever someone thinks about you is their internal feeling of themselves, and it reflects on how they see you. So you need to remember that it's not always about you. Actually, it's never about you to someone else. It's about them. So start feeling the same way about yourself. Make it about you. Um, like for me growing up, we moved from Brooklyn when I was 10 to Long Island. So you want to talk about culture shock. So I went from being around all black and Hispanic to being around white and predominantly Jewish for the school that I went to. Um, so it was a culture shock for me. And I didn't feel like I fit in for a long time. Even just growing up, didn't feel like I fit in. Was I in the, I guess I was, I was hanging out with different crowds. Didn't really get into a lot of trouble. Well, at least get caught getting into, the regular mischief that kids get into. Um, I didn't really come into my own, or begin to, that is, because you work on it daily, you work on yourself daily, until probably my early 20s, after I graduated college, which my parents were kind of conflicted on that. My mom wanted us to go to college because she went, got her master's, she midwife, nurse practitioner. My dad went to vocational school, was a contractor, but very successful contractor who went to vocational. So they had a conflicting thing on whether or not we should go to college, my brother and I. But after college, after graduating and then going for graphic design, because I loved art, I love creating. So I went for graphic design. I graduated, and then I thought, all right, this is going to be easy. Let me go get a job now. No one's hiring. You have no experience. What do we want you for? Um, I think California was probably the only state that it was kind of hiring, and the salary in let's see my age. So I graduated in 2003. Salary for a graphic designer entry level was somewhere in the mid 30s. Like I can make double that in construction right now. So why would I leave construction to go sit in a cubicle behind a computer all day? That's when I started coming to my own because personally for me, my one of my loves, one of my passions, woodwork. I really didn't get a chance to really do woodwork, but I got a chance to learn the skills that I now use today for a company that my wife and I have on the side, building reclaimed wood furniture. Fenton's been one of our
Mm,
clients.
mm,
Um, but I took that passion with me, and I didn't worry about what people were saying, including family. Like, what are you doing? You have this degree. What are you gonna do with it? Who cares? What are you worried about? Stay in your lane. You know, don't watch me watch TV. Don't worry what I'm doing. I got it. But
mm,
thankfully, but thankfully, my father was there saying, "Don't worry about it. Who cares? I'll teach you this. I'll teach you the trade. At least it's something you can fall back on." Very happy I stuck with that and didn't worry about what, again, even my closest family was saying. You're wasting your time or you're wasting your degree. Well, I didn't see it that way, thankfully. Again, it still took time because I'm now in my 40s. I'll be 43 this year, and I talk to people personally, even at work, and let them know, listen, these not little, but these young adults, stop worrying so much what people think about you. And yes, it's practice. You have to practice that because no one not I don't want to say that no one cares, but no one cares about your problems as much as you do. And when you learn that, when you could see that everyone has their own issues and know they're not looking at you and know they're not talking about you, and if they are, maybe you're doing something right. If you have a bunch of, what did he say? Fenton likes to say alive, you got some haters today, you want some more haters tomorrow because it means you're doing something right. And the people that watch you the most are your haters. They will watch what you do, they'll critique everything you do more than you critique yourself. So
mm.
keep on that path. Like I want to reiterate what Fenton was saying. Um, Stay in your path. Do your thing. If you have the passion for it, the love for it, um, and you think you've missed your time, you haven't. All right, you haven't missed anything. Learn from not just mistakes, but just learn from your history. Right? They say you have to know your history so you don't repeat it. All right, so if you, well, that's that. I don't agree with that statement because during your journey, all right, so during my journey, if I learned something that can be helpful, why would I want to repeat that 10 times, tenfold? Why wouldn't I want to repeat my history? So that saying needs to be adjusted. Maybe it should be don't repeat your negative history, don't repeat the bad things that
Yeah,
happened in your history. But why wouldn't you want to repeat success?
that's good.
I'm just, but yeah, you can't sit here or you can't just live your life worrying about what others think of you. And again, not just your friends, not just your family, your colleagues, whatever it may be. No one really cares. And it's not to put you down. It's not to make you feel bad. It's not to say no one loves you. No. Again, it's worry about the man in the mirror, right? Worry about you. If you have people you have to that depend on you, like family or friends that depend on you, okay, that's fine. But if you're not comfortable in your own skin, if you're not the center of your own universe, which is not to be cocky, but it's to be confident, right?
No, I get it.
You can still be helpful, you can still be a nice person, you could still be a go-getter, but you can be confident without being cocky. Yes, it's a thin line, but it depends who's looking in, I guess, right? But you got to remember, don't worry about people are thinking about you. Don't worry what people are saying about you. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and say, I'm a better person today than I was yesterday. All right. No one else can tell you that. They can suggest it, and that's about it. That's all I got.
This is such a juicy topic. I think that was probably about wrap it up. But when I'm telling you, I could go on for a couple hours. I've had so many experiences in my life where I felt the gaze of others in my head, and it
Mm-hmm.
stopped me from doing things that I wanted to do, and that's regrettable. That should never happen, So thank you for this topic. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's just super powerful. I hope people will really take time to think about what they're what they're not doing that they want to be doing, and not doing it because of what other people think, and take some time really think about that, and if that's really how you want to live your life. So it's good stuff, man.
You're welcome.
You're,
They call me Maui. You're welcome.
you're welcome. No, and thank you. Moana is my daughter's favorite right now. All right, we're not gonna get into that. All right, yo. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and please feel free to leave in the comments how you feel about what other people think. Promise we won't judge you. All right, peace.
Later, yeah. Peace.